At the McCanns, well, Rupinder Bains is a lawyer at Pinder Reaux and Associates, which specialises in cases involving social media. Good morning to you. What do you think? What are your thoughts about this particular case?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, the consequences that have resulted have been quite dire. But a lot of argument today is going to be about whether the press were right in releasing the name of the individual who was suspected of being involved. And the media does have guidelines that they're supposed to adhere to in relation to naming suspects. You know, there's no criminal investigation at the moment, and so having named her, they could have potentially opened themselves out to potential libel action in the future if there hadn't been a prosecution. But one would think that perhaps Sky News would have done a thorough investigation to have been so confident to have named a suspect.
How easy is it for trolls to stay anonymous, Rupinder?
It's incredibly easy, and that's the sad part, actually. The victim, or the lady in this case, when she was shown on television, she didn't come across as being, you know, the atypical troll as one would imagine. Now, there are a lot of hardened trolls out there who do this frequently, and they know how to remain anonymous. They have multiple accounts. They know if you go to an internet cafe or you know, have various scramblers to hide their IP locations, they won't be found.
And yet we talked to Jonathan Bishop, the editor of the Trolling Academy, earlier on, who said actually it's very easy to find people. You just have to be a little bit dedicated.
Not at all. Not at all. We do this all the time. We do this all the time in civil proceedings, obviously, because the Crown Prosecution Service will take the criminal angle. But where things are not picked up by the police, and we are dealing with cases of defamation and libel, and we are hunting down people or the identities behind the trollers, sometimes we do hit a brick wall. It's not as easy as what one would assume, but there are ways and means of doing so. It's just a very expensive course of action that one has to proceed with.
And are the companies that run these forums, are they as helpful as they could be, Rupinder?
Twitter, Facebook have been extremely helpful. Once we remember, they have to also abide by data protection legislation, so they can't just hand over information. But when we obtain various injunctions from the High Court in this country, they do oblige and provide the information that we are seeking.
Now, Martin Brunt is quoted in the Times today, Sky's current correspondent who actually was went and actually spoke to Brenda Leyland, said that he was later invited into her home, where she said she had questions for the McCanns but hoped she hadn't broken the law after tweeting her malicious comments. Had she broken the law? Or do you suspect that, or I suppose what I'm asking is, what kind of malicious comment? Yes, exactly. Where does the law stand on malicious comments?
And the truth is, no one really knows at the moment. There isn't enough guidelines. It's quite a grey area at the moment. We have legislation in place to protect from harassment and for the Communications Act, Malicious Communications Act, to prevent against grossly offensive abuse online. The question is, what is grossly offensive and what is just insulting messages? You know, what one person says in a crowded pub, for example, would that be enough for you to be arrested and receive a jail sentence over, or would it just be something that you'd be told to leave a pub for? You know, these things are getting quite muddied at the moment, and a lot of guidance is needed.
Thank you for joining us, Rupinder Bains, there, a lawyer at Pinder Reaux and Associates, which specialises in cases involving social media. We've heard